Welcome to Story Cinema. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the story. Have a good day. And please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. This story takes place in Louisiana, United States of America, where a dangerous flood has hit the area. As the water rises, some prisoners are being moved to safety. However, the flood brings a terrifying new threat, causing chaos throughout the city. What exactly is this threat, and how will people survive it? Let's dive into the story to find out. The film starts in Louisiana, where news reports warn of severe weather. A massive flood is on the way, leading to an urgent evacuation order for the city. In the midst of this, a couple is caught in a fierce storm, with strong winds and heavy rain battering them. They seek shelter in a nearby building. Inside, the man struggles to close the door against the relentless wind. But it's no use, the door is shattered. As they try to figure out their next move, their attention is diverted by an alligator that attacks the man standing near the door. In a flash, the alligator grabs him and devours him. After finishing with the man, the alligator turns its attention to the woman. Terrified, she tries to escape, but the alligator is too quick, and she meets the same grim fate. It's revealed that this isn't an isolated incident. Many alligators have come into the city from the flooded water, posing a major danger. The next day, a prison bus is shown transporting inmates. The prison is now submerged due to the flood, so the prisoners are being relocated to safety. On the bus are 2 police officers and 5 prisoners. The rain is so intense that reaching their destination seems impossible, prompting one officer to suggest they find somewhere to stay the night. They come across a police station where they decide to stop. The 5 prisoners are all lifers, convicted to murder, and they sit quietly, hoping the flood will provide an opportunity to escape. The scene shifts to the police station, where they will spend the night. The sheriff, a seasoned officer who took over from his late father, oversees the station with 2 deputies. Despite the flood risk in the area, they are unaware of the immediate danger. The sheriff speaks with a deputy about water seeping into the police station, risking a flooded basement. Though another deputy was sent to close the basement door, the deputy informs the sheriff that a busload of prisoners will be arriving shortly. Worried about managing the prisoners with a limited staff, the sheriff sends the other deputy back to the basement for supplies. Meanwhile, dangerous alligators have entered the police station through the roof. As one deputy heads to the basement, he finds it filled with water and is attacked by an alligator that drags him away, leaving only blood behind. Unaware of the chaos below, the sheriff and deputy above are approached by a group of criminals who want to free a prisoner from the bus. They had planned to ambush the bus when it turned, but it goes straight to the station, leaving them disappointed. The criminals decide to adapt their plan and follow the bus to the station. By evening, the bus arrives, and the sheriff and deputies bring the prisoners inside, checking their records. The sheriff, a woman, faces trouble with 4 of the prisoners who are disrespectful. However, being experienced, she handles the situation firmly. Among the 5 prisoners, one named Code remains silent and calm, catching the sheriff's attention. The sheriff warns the prisoners about the dangerous flood situation and makes it clear that any attempts to cause trouble will be met with severe consequences. The prisoners are then locked in their cells. The group of criminals outside believes the station has minimal security and plans to break in and free their accomplice at gunpoint. As the sheriff and deputy return to their office, the criminals begin shooting at the station from outside. The officers quickly react and return fire. Meanwhile, the criminals break in and confront the sheriff and deputy. In hiding, the sheriff informs the criminals that there are only two people in the station, herself and her deputy. The criminals' leader assures them they won't harm anyone if they can free their companion. The sheriff agrees, hoping to avoid further violence. The deputy, who had been stationed outside, hears the gunfire and comes up with a gun to investigate. The sheriff tells him to stay put, but he charges forward and is quickly shot by the criminals. The sheriff returns fire, wounding one of the criminals, but eventually she and the deputy surrender to avoid further bloodshed. The criminals' leader demands to know where the prisoners are. The sheriff leads them to the cells where a police officer with a gun is guarding them. The criminals threaten the officer, who puts down his weapon as instructed. The leader of the criminals is here to free Code, the quiet prisoner. As Code's cell is opened, the other prisoners beg to be released, offering to help the criminals in exchange for their freedom. The leader refuses, saying he only came to rescue Code. As Code is free, the group decides to wait due to the severe rain. Meanwhile, a wounded criminal sits on the floor, bleeding. Sensing the blood, an alligator arrives and devoured the injured criminal. The leader of the criminals is about to leave with Code, but orders the sheriff to destroy all the security footages to remove any evidence. The sheriff reassures him that the flood has already destroyed all the cameras, but the leader sends his accomplice with the sheriff to confirm. As they go downstairs, the sheriff spots a flashlight submerged in the water and discovers that it is actually her deputy's suede hand. Terrified, she drops the flashlight. The leader's accomplice is also alarmed. As they talk, an alligator approaches the stair. In their panic, the accomplice fails to shoot accurately and is quickly attacked by the alligator, resulting in their death. The sheriff, terrified, tries to escape, but the rising water and approaching alligator make it difficult. She manages to push the alligator back through a door and locks it. The leader finds his injured accomplice is missing, having also been killed by the alligator. He encounters the nervous sheriff, who informs him of the alligator's presence. Surprised, the leader sees the alligator coming up, and they both scramble to save themselves. They run to the cell area, but the alligator grabs the leader's leg. Code tries to help, but is unable to prevent the leader's death. He quickly locks the door. In the chaos, a nervous prisoner decides to release all the prisoners. Despite Code's objection, the prisoners are freed, and two of them start attacking the sheriff. She bravely defends herself, kicking and punching them. Code intervenes, chastising the others for fighting instead of focusing on survival. He helps release two officers who had been locked by the prisoners. The group devises a plan to defend against alligators. One prisoner highlights the dual threats of the rising water and the alligators. They need to escape quickly to avoid drowning or being eaten. They start climbing out using clothes tied together, but one prisoner struggles and begs for help. His companion selfishly ignores him, and he falls into the water, where the alligator attacks and kills him. The remaining prisoners witness the horrific scene. The sheriff fires at the alligator to drive it away. They escape through ventilation and finds themselves in a safe area with less water. While waiting, some prisoners plan to escape, knowing they will be sent back to jail once things settle. Code and Sheriff have a conversation where Code explains his past, revealing he was coerced into criminal activity and is not a true criminal. The sheriff believes Code's story and understands his actions were driven by desperation. Meanwhile, two prisoners, still under police watch, plot to grab a gun and escape. When an alligator attacks, they use the distraction to grab the weapon. One prisoner shoots and kills the two officers. The alligator kills the injured prisoner, and the chaos causes the roof to collapse, fatally wounding another prisoner. Code and Sheriff fire at the alligator, but their bullets are ineffective. Code finds a rod from a wounded prisoner and prepares to use it. A prisoner tries to distract the alligator, but is quickly killed. The alligator then attacks Code and the sheriff. Just as it seems they are doomed, the leader of the criminals arrives with a gun. Having survived the alligator's initial attack, relieved, Code learns that the leader can only take him, not the sheriff, due to limited escape option. Code refuses to leave without the sheriff, and a confrontation ensues between them. During the fight, the sheriff takes decisive action and manages to kill the alligator with an explosion, causes significant damage to the building. The leader of the criminal dies in the blaze. With the danger over, Code and Sheriff escape in a speedboat. On the other side, the sheriff tells Code to leave, promising to report the prisoners as killed. Code smiles and says, "Sheriff, don't take me out now. We will see each other again." With that, they say their farewells and go their separate ways. And so ends the tale of the perilous alligators, so deadly that they can devour a person in the blink of an eye. The sheriff and Code, both brave and honorable, never wronged anyone, and in the end, they survived. That's where the film ends. Please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.